Well, great. It's cool. I can see some new faces in there, and I can see lots of old faces. So this is really cool. I'm looking forward to it. I hope we have. I hope everyone's excited about the upcoming, not only the Milky Way season, but with all the activities we get to do or try and stuff like that. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start her up, if that's okay.
Sounds good.
Larry says I'm the boss, so okay, that sounds good. All right, I think I got the date wrong now, though. Today's the 20th, isn't it? Yeah, well, last meeting I had the wrong year, but at least I'm in the right year now. All right, so then I'm going to go over a couple things that some of you might know already, but again, I'm recording this so that if other people who were not able to attend, so they have a gist of it if they're new folks and stuff like that. So just let everybody know basically who I am. My name's Donovan. Everyone typically calls me Dono. I also work at Johnson PhotoImaging. I'm the director of education here. These are my calling cards. If you guys want to find out who I am, a little bit more about me, so you can tag me or follow me wherever you want to go. These are some of the things that I've liked doing. Some of you have been out there, and some of you have not seen this yet, but this is a house out in Duet that's no longer there now, but was one of the few times I was able to get out there and shoot the Milky Way. But these are some of the things I've been doing. I've been doing this now for about 6 years now, something like that. I essentially started doing this with my kid, and so I can get, so I can take them on trips and stuff like that. So if you guys want to find out more about these types of things, you can always head to the my website, and of course, if you want to, you're more than welcome to leave me a donation there. I'm always happy about that stuff. Since I'm the director of education, we do a lot of programs here at Johnson PhotoImaging. I'm currently there right now. That's received in the background right there. You see where I work at. I'm basically at my workstation tonight. Just to let you know, there's a couple of things coming up here at JPI that that I'd like to let you know about. Keep in mind, you can always go and find these things also about the classes there, and also at online on Facebook and Instagram. Starting tomorrow, so anybody wants to try out some Sigma glass, Brett Wells from Sigma will be there, and he'll be doing a presentation here at the store, doing demos all day long on Friday, and then he'll also be here on Saturday as well, and he's going to do a photo walk at Robinson's Preserve. We'll be meeting at the north entrance at 7 a.m. That's when the park opens up. So we'll get in there, and we'll be out there for about 90 minutes or so. And then we're going to head back. And if anybody wants to, we could do a photo review there at the site. So this will be for basically mainly a mirrorless crowd. So that'll be that. There'll be also a Sony mirrorless, a Canon mirrorless, and Nikon mirrorless. If you have, if you're doing Canon and Nikon, you got to have the lens adapter for that. Otherwise, it'd be Nikon or Canon DSLR. I'll have some loner lens. The reason I'm telling you that because you'll have some loner lenses for you guys to try out if you want to. Long glass, not the short glass, the long glass. So if you guys are interested in that type of stuff, you can do that. Let's see. All right, I know that somebody's in the chat thing, but I can't see the chat window, so you're just gonna have to hang tight on that. A couple of other things too. Canon will be here the following weekend, and it's going to be also doing this similar thing. They'll be in the store. Jeff Linebuckle from Canon will be here at Johnson Photo. He'll be doing a Friday, an all-day demo, and then on Saturday we're going to do a little photo field trip down to the Venice Rookery. You meet there around 7 o'clock to do that. If you're going to the Venice Rookery, just to let you know, there's been a change in some of the construction around there. Annex Road is closed off in 41. You have to go to 776 to get to the Rookery now. If you're going, I'll send emails about dates about that. I just drove by there today and found out more about that. Also later, yeah.
What was in the chat is I think the handle is Phoenix. He's from France, so basically it's pretty late over there.
Oh wow. Well, thank you, Phoenix. I I didn't realize we had someone so far away. Cool. Thank you very much for joining us. Thanks, Glenn, for letting me know. So on January 30th, we're going to be doing a photo walk there at 10 a.m. So that'll be kind of fun to do. That's going to be at Bach Tower. That's over in Lake Wales. Again, you can always find out more about this through the website there that you see there. I know if you're in France, you probably can't get on a quick jet to fly over here, but just bear with me. It's got to go a few more things, and then we'll get a little bit more into this stuff. Sony will also be here doing photo demos as well. They're going to be doing a demo all day at the store, and he's going to be on Friday and Saturday. He's also heading out to Robinson's Preserve. Billy D is going to be here February 5th. He's going to be doing a boudoir photography class. This is a lot of fun. If those of you who don't know who Billy D is, Billy D Photography, he's an amazing photographer who takes these really great photos. He's a multi-award winning of the Florida Professional Excellence photographer. So yeah, if you get a chance to check him out, I would certainly do that. Stop by his website. You can always see some of his work. He's an incredible, he does really some great stuff with lighting. He knows his stuff. He's, like I said, an award-winning wedding photographer. So, and he does a lot of really cool things. He'll also be doing a creative lighting as well. This will be an outdoor event for this particular one. So if you guys are interested in that, if you're going to be in the area, then by all means, stop on there. The other thing too is if anybody else is interested, I'm going to be trying to head down to the Venice Fishing Pier, and I'm going to try to shoot the sunset as it goes in between the pylons there. So that'll be a lot of fun. I've tried it 3 times. Each time it's been too cloudy, rainy, or whatever. So it's been a lot of fun with that. The other thing too, on February 27th, I'm going to try to do some star trails over the Everglades. So I went out with, oh my God, he's going to kill me now. Greg Adams. Oh, there we go. Finally. I went out with Greg Adams about a month or so ago, and we found some really interesting locations. And I was going to try to, if you guys are interested, I was going to take you to a couple of those spots and do some really cool things with that type of stuff. These are some of the Star Trail things that we discovered. This was at the Value Jet Memorial. That was kind of cool. I didn't even know that they had one. For those who don't know, the Value Jet Memorial was a plane crash that was in the Everglades, and there were no survivors. So they built a memorial out there, and it was kind of cool to go out and see that. And of course, you know, I saw the plane trails go through there, and I was talking to Greg, and he said I was going to try to shop them out later, and he goes, no, it's the airline memorial, so you should leave that there. I said, yeah, you know, you're right. So I'll do that. I did put in here on the whole thing some of the specs of the settings right there. So if you guys are interested in that. Now, if on the Star Trail thing on February 26th, on March for the next low light group meeting, I'm going to do a little bit more about star trails and edits with Sequator and star stacks and stuff like that. So if anybody's interested in that, you can do all that. The other thing too, this was another one that we discovered. There was actually it's called Oil Well Park, which I thought was called pretty cool, and it had this really neat little structure out there. And again, you know, doing some star trails out there. I didn't quite wasn't quite as happy with this one out there, so this was kind of cool. I thought it was really unique. Along the way too, there's also Kirby Storter Park, so we'll stop by there. Most of you have been there at one point or another. This is a really cool spot to go again to photograph the star trails. This was a really long turnaround time. So you can see right there the exposure for all these things is 10 seconds, and that multiplication factor right there is how many of these actual exposures were, and they basically get piled in there. Now I'm using an Olympus camera, which does what's called live composite. So it kind of builds it up in the camera, but the stars aren't normally green like this. That's an artistic, determination on the whole thing. It's my little interpretation of the whole thing. There we go. Now, there's a couple of things that are coming up too that I think you guys, if you guys don't know about it yet, I just want to remind you guys. We're going to have a photo exhibit in the Manatee Performance Arts Building. The drop-off time is going to be March 7th for that type of thing. So if you guys are interested in doing that, we'll be doing that as well. This gives you kind of an idea of the layout. This was kind of set up a little bit through Mac Aldrich. At least he pointed us in the direction. These guys use, you have to have, if you're going to be displaying, you're going to have to make sure it's on wire. hanging wire, and then they'll have these little wires that hang down from what these things called stays, or at least that's what it looks like to me, and they can hang your pieces off of there. We'll be able to put some little bit of cards up there, for John Hancock and stuff like that. But we'll be also, if you want to sell them, you can, but you can't sell them there. So you could say there'll be like little things like this next to them and stuff like that. So if you guys are interested in doing that, well, there's a lot of specs. I posted them on Facebook. I also put it, I think, in the meetup group too, as well, for the date of the drop off. These are the acceptable themes: nightscapes, astrophotography, astro landscapes, light painting, star trails, fireworks, and moonshots. Basically, I'm only taking in 2D only photos, canvas, metal, or acrylic, basically anything like that. Print sizes should be 16 to 20 to 24 by 36, anywhere between there. The largest acceptable frame, though, is 26 by 38. You could submit up to 3 pieces. So all submitted artwork must be ready to hang as far as that goes. So basically, picture frame wire should not be above the edge of the frame. Picture frame wire is a multi-strand wire. Do not use monofilament. No sawtooth hangers. I know there's a lot of cheap frames out there, so just pay attention to what you get to put on there. The idea is it needs to look at least professional, at least on the front side, so we can hang it and make a nice presentation for everybody. So that would be really the cool thing. This is the Manatee Performing Arts Center. It's going to be up for 2 months there, so just keep that in mind. Make sure if you're using glass or plexi, it should be clean and scratch free. All the mat boards should be nice and clean. Frames should be in good condition. No chips, scratches, or loose corners. Canvases must be framed or have like a gallery wrapped, so that they look really nice and acceptable as far as that goes. No smudges and smears. Watermarks are not encouraged. That means if you want to put your logo across the whole thing, that's not encouraged. You can put a little signature on there if you want, that's fine, but watermarks basically are not, or won't. When you turn them in, each piece must be clearly labeled with the photo, name, tile, phone, email. Please include any details like constellation, landscape, and location. I'm going to be collecting a $5 per piece for the exhibit. This is really just to help me take care of any costs that would be for the installation of the thing. That's really, though, is if I do have any monies left over after all this stuff, I'm going to donate it to the Performing Arts Center. The work drop off on that, it's going to be on March 7th, again from 9 a.m. And again, it's going to be at the Manatee Performing Arts Center. So it's 502. Again, all this stuff is available, and you'll see it when I send out the links about the video here, that you'll be able to pick that up there as well. The other thing too is I'm going to need 3 to 5 volunteers. If you volunteer, there's no fee. That basically you're helping checking in and hanging. If I'm there, there'll be a line. Because I got to check everybody in, then I'm going to be all day there hanging. So if anybody wants to help volunteer for that, I'll be most appreciative of that type of thing. So that would help me out a lot. All right. Any questions about any of that stuff? No? All right. Going to keep moving on. All right. So the Sunshine at the Skyway. So we actually had 2 really great days each time we planned to go out there. So that was really cool. I was very excited about that. And a lot of people got some really great photos from that type of stuff. So we'll be sharing any of those pictures if anybody brought any of those to share with those things as well too. There's a little video I did, a little time lapse. I'm going to play that real quick, and then I'll let you guys what you saw there was a time lapse I took. 'Cause I had two cameras out there. One was out shooting this, and I had another camera just recording all the time lapse. Then I took all the pictures I shot with the really long lens, and I ran that through there. That's why that last bet's a little bit herky jerky, since they're all individual frames moving very, very fast. So it was kind of cool. It was a lot of fun. This is my second time doing time lapse stuff. So any comments or criticism on that, though, I would be appreciative of that type of stuff. Then we also did the nighttime photo walk as well. That was cool. I know Glidden was out there, and Barbara and a few others out there. We had a good time out there exploring downtown Venice, and this is one of the shots that I got from all that out there. So it was kind of cool to do all that stuff. All right. Now, any other questions about any of the stuff before we move on to a few other things? No. Well, it's all pretty straightforward. So it's going to be hopefully a pretty active year for all of us here. I got Richard Rommel. He basically sent me some photos via email. So I put them into the presentation here. So it'll be a little bit easier to see. All right, Richard, we're going to start off with you, if that's all right. And we'll swing
Sure,
into a
that'd
few
be
others.
fine.
So these are some of the things that Richard sent. Now, I took the liberty of pulling up the metadata on the picture. So I'm assuming all that is what you had on there.
Oh, you are right on.
This is a really cool, where was this at?
This was taken up on a farm in Freeport, Maine.
Oh, nice
And-
dark skies out there.
Yeah, it was nice. I took the liberty to paint the trees in the background there with a big flashlight that I had over the 15-second exposure. So the stars came out pretty sharp. I generally try to keep it under 30 seconds so I don't get any blur from the stars.
Yeah. Yeah. For those who don't know, since the Earth is spinning, you're going to get motion blur with the stars if you don't do it fast enough. There's a rule out there. It's called the 500 rule, which is a general purpose rule. You can take your focal length and you can divide that into 500. Divide your focal length by 500, and you get up with the time on that type of stuff. So it's kind of a neat way to get that stuff. But I love that. That is really cool, man. Where is this at this is the backyard, or is this in the cabin somewhere?
Yeah, this is the backyard.
That's cool.
Yep. Yeah, it was a chilly night, but it was very rewarding.
Mm.
I figure if I get one good picture at night, I'm doing all right.
Well, I like this. This was like at 35 seconds for this one. You can see the lighthouse is just blowing out right there. But I knew that we had to be really bright but it's really, you got such a low light area and down there. I thought that came out really nice. At least I hope it goes well on your end. I think it looks pretty cool.
Thank you. Yeah, we picked up some atmospherics there to the right of the lighthouse. Incidentally, if you ever have Cape Cod potato chips, this is the lighthouse that they use for their logo in Eastham, where I live. So, and the foreground is painted with headlights of a car.
I was wondering how that happened.
Yeah, I didn't use my flashlight for this one.
Yeah, because I saw it was 35 seconds. So I'm assuming you're just doing it for that long to get enough with the light, and you're dropping down the f-stop so you don't burn out the lighthouse and stuff like that. But I was like, how the hell did you get all that lit up down there in the bottom? I was trying to puzzle that out.
Yeah, well, you know the secret now. Cat's out of the bag.
Cat's out of the bag. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
That's really cool. Yeah. Anybody have any comments so far? Larry says you did great.
Oh, thank you, Larry.
Lighthouses are always good.
Yeah. Now, this one I really love. I especially love the composition on this one with the fireworks and stuff like this. Now, was this any kind of composite, or is just the one shot that you got for that particular set going off?
I had probably a handful of shots of these types of aerial displays they put on. I was privileged to be almost right under the area where they were shot off from in Orleans, Massachusetts. So, of course, in our digital age, I get to see everything right away, so I can make quick adjustments and wait for the next burst. I must say, I've probably shot several thousand frames of fireworks over my lifetime. This is one of my favorites.
Well, I just really love it. I mean, it's just, you got such great detail there, you know, with the lines and everything else. I mean, this was the composition, I think really works really great. Now, was this a lot, was there a lot more detail? Did you have to crop it afterwards to kind of get the composition like this?
I would say this is probably 70–80% full frame. I did a little bit of tweaking on the right side, cropping out some
Right.
empty black space there. But for the most part, it's probably 80–85% of the original image.
Yeah, fireworks, and I'm sure Richard can concur, is it's yeah, you have to be at the right place at the right spot for it, because otherwise, if the wind's blowing towards you, then the smoke is blowing towards you, and then that kind of obscures some of the fireworks and stuff like that. And a lot
Exactly.
of people always assume that you have to do these long exposures. You don't have to. You just do like a second or so, or even up to 4 seconds. And if you want to get a couple extra bursts and stuff like that, and you just don't need a high ISO either. You just shoot it at lowest ISO you can, and you just keep adjusting the aperture just to control basically any kind of ambient light that might be out there to help control some of that. But that's
Yeah,
really cool.
I usually don't like a lot of noise in the background, so I shoot with relatively slow ISOs most of the
Yeah.
time.
Were you saying something, Margaret?
Yeah, the composition is incredible. I mean, I just really like the way he cropped that in, and it really, the two tones, and it emphasized, it looks like blooming fireworks. So it's
Ah.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. You should make a bunch of metal prints and sell them. That's what I love.
Oh,
That's
there you
really,
go.
Wouldn't that look good on aluminum?
it would. I think that would look
Oh,
great on
yes,
aluminum.
yes.
Yeah. That's a great one.
JPI
Yeah.
does that, right?
Yeah, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Nudge, nudge. Yeah, I mean, it's really, yeah, that's beautiful.
Richard, first, thank you very much for sharing these things. That is really cool. You got some great stuff there, and I thank you for sharing these things. That's awesome.
Happy to do it. Thank
No
you.
problem. So if anybody's interested in getting any of their printing done for the for the exhibit, I'm doing 20% off on any of the prints for the exhibit. So if you want to get them printed through JPI, let me know. If you order online, just pay for, just ask to be pick it up in the store, and then I can take the 20% off of that. Just make sure you put in the comments for the low light photo group, but that way I know to make sure you get that for that. Okay. Or just come into the store and you can go ahead and place the order, and then we'll just do it then or at that point. So it takes about 2 weeks approximately to get the metal prints and acrylic prints back. In-house, we could do canvas, and we can do art prints as well. We don't do any framing anymore. I can mount it on foam board, but I can only do up to like about a 20x30 mounting. So I don't have any mat board or anything like that for that type of stuff. So you'll have to go hither and thither and find some of that stuff out there. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the sharing, because sharing is caring, right? Is that what they keep telling me?
Oh, yeah.
A good plan.
All right, so now if you guys can see the screen, you should see Larry's picture right here. Since Larry's here, he can talk about it himself, but I could see it's pretty much, it looks like the Sunshine Skyway photo, and you got that sun smack right in the middle. So what day were you out there when you did that one?
That was on the Wednesday after you guys were out.
Mhm.
We were, 2 other people were gonna come with you, but we were all under the weather.
Yeah.
And so we came out Wednesday, I think it was, and we were able to get far to the left because it was low tide, and we were able to get right there under the span. So there were a few other people around, but maybe only one other with a real camera. Another person was around with a cell phone taking pictures.
Now, is this a cropped version down, or did you try to fill the frame up with all this?
I tried to film everything. I don't think I cropped very much on that, if at all. And I wanted to kind of get it so you had that whole idea that the whole bridge,
Right,
you could get at it. So I didn't want to crop much off because of that.
now this was with your Olympus, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we're
I have the Nikon, but it's usually in my box
Right.
without batteries in it.
Well, that's good. That's a good way to store it. It's without the batteries, at least. I can't
Larry,
tell you
what
how,
lens do you use? What lens?
what lens we're using.
That was probably the, was it 75 to 300,
Mhm.
which gives me equivalent to, what, 150 to 300.
150, 600, yeah. That's really cool. I like it a lot. I love the composition of it. And for those of you who've not done this before, especially those who might be watching the video later, the sun only sets in between the arches just only a couple times a year. I mean, you can see it in other places, but you basically got to be on a boat to go to it. So on this little bit of stretch of land, you can kind of walk around there and line yourself up so you can see the sunrise. The only caveat is that the park doesn't open until 7. So if you go out there in November, you got only about 10-ish minutes to run out there. But in January, when the sun's swinging back around the other way again, you could see it and you got a little bit of time because the sun usually starts to rise around 7:30 or so out there. So it wasn't too bad, but again, you can, but like I said, if you can get out there, get set up real quick, it's kind of fun. Well, that's cool. So I'm assuming it was that you're shooting this at a high aperture right around there, something like that. But I just love it. It's a nice composition, especially with the reflection there in the water and all this other fun stuff going on there too. The no clouds, you didn't have to do any shopping for any of your stuff. So that looks, at least it doesn't look like you didn't have to.
Now, don't ask why, because I don't remember why. But it was ISO 250. Why was it F13? I don't know. And 1/5000th of a second.
Yeah.
Whoa.
When I was looking at the live view on the thing, it looked good. So that's where I took the picture. And then I looked at the settings afterwards and like, what'd you do that for? And I was like, doesn't matter. It came out good.
Yeah, that's true. Came out good. All right. This is Mr. Jeff. Well, thanks,
Yep.
Larry. Thanks for sharing that. Hey, Jeff Carlson, you out there?
Yeah, I am.
All right. So UTC, that is awesome.
Yeah,
That's some nice. You got a great position there, especially with all the light trails from the cars and all this. This is really, really awesome. I am enjoying that immensely.
Done with the
Wow.
Olympus in the live composite. Wanted to play
Okay.
around with it. And the only thing is ducking people and those that stop in front of you and, to wave and get in your image.
Yeah.
This one was, I went back on it, Dono, and this was set up with 4-second exposure, a base, and then F18 at ISO 64. So it's just trying to look at adding it together. It was done with a 7-14 f2.8. And there were a series of images of about 40 images that were composited together. And what I enjoyed was you could watch the image developing, so you could stop it at any time if you were getting a lot of overexposure in the car trails there.
Yeah, I don't understand why more cameras don't have that feature in there, because that's a really nice feature to have in there, and then you can still tweak it and play with it later on, and you can still do whatever. But being able to do that afterwards is while you can see it happening, it's a nice feature. So
They
the
also-
starburst that you got in there, does that just that happen in there, or did you put those in there?
No, that's as captured.
That's basically a result of the using the smaller apertures. When you get pinpoint light sources, you're going to get more of a chance to get a star out of it.
Yeah, well, it's F18, so
Yep.
Yep.
I can.
Yep.
Really clean.
Yeah, very clean. Yeah, it's a very clean, very nice. Great use of lines, a nice use of color, positive, negative space, I think is just wonderful. That's a nice little composition there. And that's
No,
really
thanks.
good stuff. Does anybody else have anything they want to say? No?
Well, I really like the lines that the traffic made. It sort of takes you around and into the back door of the picture.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming this is headlights from a car, because that's what my assumption is, because I've seen the lights go there. So it's like
Yep.
almost these lights are street. It's like you got these two glowing balls that came by and went meow, made all this stuff, you know. So I like that.
Where is this image taken?
Where
This
was
is
the
a
image taken, Bob?
university.
This is Daryl. Where's the image taken?
At University Town Center, right here in Sarasota,
Oh, okay. I'm not familiar with that
the
area.
shopping mall.
I'm up in-
They've got a wonderful light show, but the problem is, even with the changing lights, you can't capture that with even the live composite.
Yeah.
That's a nice photo. I like it. Very good.
Yeah. I think UTC should pay you for this photo is what I think.
I'll go see Benderson.
All right, let me go to the next one here and see what we got here. And it's also for Mr. Jeff. And it's like, is this at UTC again?
That's at UTC again, just one of the circles there. And
Yeah.
I was thinking about going pre-Christmas, but there was just too much activity and too much COVID out there.
Yeah.
So these were done a couple nights after Christmas, where the lights were still on. There's one red line that goes through, probably some big truck or something like that.
Yeah. I
That
see
had
right
an
there.
elevator. That one right there. Yep. So you get some squirrely things every now and then.
Yeah. That happens too when I do the with the light trails, with the star trails, when the planes go by. I did this one and they said that it looks like you got a scratch on the print. I said, no, that's just a plane going zigzagging on there. It's not a scratch.
Yep.
So yeah, that's
Not
pretty
only
cool. Yes.
they say that this is great for doing star trails as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I that was one of the things reason I went with the Olympus camera because of the live composite feature. Nikon though is coming out with star autofocus for the Z9, so that's going to be interesting. So if you're any of those Nikon shooters out there, you're looking for you want to do stars and stuff, you like star autofocus, you can do that. Keep in mind you can always set your lens to infinity, but sometimes it's always hard to get that line right there on the infinity mark because most people don't realize that infinity is not all the way to the right. You have to kind of dial it back just a smidge or two so you get those nice sharp focus points as best as you can as you're digging through the atmosphere.
Yeah.
But that is really cool. Thank you so much. I appreciate you sharing these, Jeff.
Actually,
I really
Jeff,
love that first one. That first one was just amazing. I mean, this is good too, but that one was a great composition, I thought.
What are the
Yeah.
settings on this one?
I'm sorry, Margaret.
What are the settings, Jeff, on this one?
It's the live composite. I had 4-second exposures with a runtime of 8 minutes. It was f16 at ISO 64 because of the bright lights out there. And you can watch it develop. So you shoot a base image and then you go back and then you start it. Essentially, you hit the shutter a second time, and that starts a series of 4-second images. And the way I had it set up is every 8 seconds, it would update my live view on the back of the camera. So I could see as the cars went by what was developing. And, when you're happy with the image that you have, you just hit the shutter button again and it stops it and it goes through and composites the number of shots that you took.
That's some good stuff, man.
actually, Jeff, I believe they had the lights up and running until the weekend of the 9th of January.
Yeah, they did. But the problem, there were fewer cars going through at that time. So I was going at about 7 o'clock at night, and by 8 o'clock, I'd have to do a half an hour shoot to get enough cars going through post Christmas. So, but it was fun. I'm glad I did it. And, I'll be back again and try it from another area.
Yeah. The other thing too in that area is for those of you who live in the Sarasota, Bradenton, Venice area, Nathan Benderson Park generally has a pretty decent firework display. And what's nice about that is that the lake is very narrow there at the park. And since it's narrow, if you're on the other side and then the wind's in your favor, you get a really nice close-up seat. All right, I know Glenn's got something to share, so I'm gonna click out of here now.
Let me bring my Lightroom library over here and let me share my screen.
And while Glenn's getting that stuff, just keep in mind, if anybody's got something they want to share, I'll be glad to let you share your screen if you want to do that. Otherwise, just hang tight and we'll go through it. And then I'll do a little bit of thing here at the end, and then we'll be wrapping up after that.
I'll go fairly quick through this ones because I want really your input on the ones that do Europe with my wife and friends. This composition, actually, I took the idea from a photographer named Elia Locardi. You can find him on YouTube and so on. And is better than fight on top of the bridge. Everybody wants to shoot on the bridge. And the problem you have on the bridge, even on COVID times, is you have street vendors sitting there forever. You have bicycles with the lights coming at you, and then sometimes they just drop it on the sidewalk and leave the light on while they take pictures and so on. So I found this one a little bit better than at the top. This is a panel of St. Peter's Square. The funny story with this one, I have been shooting for a long time that night over there. As soon as I opened my tripod, the police showed up and told me that I have 5 minutes to take the pictures and move on. And they were not friendly about it. They meant business. It was like, well, take your pictures and go, pretty much. Before that, with no tripod, they didn't care that I had been there for forever, taking pictures. This is, even though you can see the light in the sky and so on, I believe it was a very late blue hour. So this is the camera doing all the work for us, bringing light from that sky, because with the plain eye, you will say that it was night already. This is as you can see here, 13 seconds at f11, and is basically, I believe, 6 images stitched together at 16 millimeters. So you can imagine how much, if you have been to the Vatican, you know how wide that St. Peter's Square is. The next one, I have another image of the Eiffel Tower lit up, a little bit tighter, and my house, my wife loves it better than this one. I like this one because of the light on the fog that night. It was, Paris, I believe the time I was there before, it was so cold. It was a cold snap. There was never fog. There was never rain. It was just cold. This time, I think we got one night with fog and one day and night with rain. So the one with the rain, I have no pictures, but this one I had just been dropped off from a tour, and I happened to be able to capture this image. And as you know, if you get the show and you recorded it, you better not put it on the internet because they're going to come after you. The light show is trademarked, so
Yeah, I know.
You better have permission to do it.
Yeah. They forget in Paris that some of the buildings are copywritten.
That's right. Yeah, that's correct. This one is the new St. Pete Pier. This image, as you can see, is 45 seconds, but this is really a blend of multiple images because you have to do bracketing to be able to get the lit portion under control. If you just take one image, it will be blown out, the highlights will be gone. So you're kind of fighting between, oh, well, I want to control the highlights, I want to be able to see the building. And I think this is a 3-image blend that I ended up doing. As you can see, even at that, I was using f/22 at ISO 100. So, and I can tell you on this image, I did pull almost to zero the highlights, even in the blend, to be able to get some control over it. But you know, once you climb those stairs, you get a view like this from the other side. This is a 4-image panel of St. Pete at night. And Dono and I have discussed whether to put the Milky Way over St. Pete or St. Pete on this image. But this is the original, so I haven't got around to insert one of my moons in there and see how it looks. But here we go. This image, Donna and I were discussing it today because I'm planning to include it on my 3 submissions for the exhibition. This is, I believe, was the Hunter Moon over the bay. This is for those of you that are familiar with South Shore. This is called Little Harbor, and it's just, you know, the dog they have in front of the restaurant. It happens to be, I believe it's about 7 miles away from my house. So one morning I just happened to look at photo pills and see that the moon will line up with a little duck. And I went over there and hey, you know, it compensated for all the frustrating nights that I have gone out trying to shoot the moon or the Milky Way and get clouds in and so on. But the reason I included on this show and tell is I have a second image later that day. Let me see if I can hide this so it will be a little bit bigger. This is taken probably between this two. I put it side by side. It was taken probably half hour later. And the reason I really like this one is because it's already blue hour, you know, late blue hour that I think the sun was almost to be up. And then you have the belt of Venus going through with all the colors reflecting and so on. So I had been debating whether to submit this one or this one. So you see,
Where was this again?
It is in Little Harbor. It's between Ruskin and Apollo Beach. And the only problem over there, you know, is an open dock and so on. You can go, no permits required. You park just right next to the little dock and so on. The problem there is the mosquitoes. They came out with a vengeance. I had long sleeve t-shirts and jeans, and they went through every opening and, you know, basically ate me alive for taking these pictures. It was not pleasant at all. But again, you know, I have been going back and forth if I want early blue hour or late blue hour, because also the moon temperature changes from this warm color to a more cool tone because of the sun, you know, was already coming out. And the final image I have here is our shoot at the Ona Cemetery. This is I believe the sky is 20 images of 15 seconds at ISO 3200 f2.8. Stack using Starry Landscape Stacker. And then I ran a bunch of little tricks trying to tone down all the light pollution and all that light reflecting. Because if you notice, look how low is the core of the Milky Way there, because this was, you know, way late in the season. It was what, I don't know, 30th of October.
Yeah, it's around Halloween, the 31st.
Yeah,
right around there.
and yeah, as you can see, for those of you that chase the Milky Way like we do, is this is what I call the extreme angle, where the Milky Way is already tilting to the right because it's so late in the season. So you only get to see the core maybe for, that night was it, don't know, 20 minutes we had it up or something like that.
20 minutes
Visible.
tops.
Yeah, like 20 minutes stop. So you have to make all your shots count. Like I always said, I went through a set of 20 images of 10 seconds at 6400. But again, then the light pollution gets a little bit intense and is more difficult to control. I did this 15-second set, and then I believe I did another 20 image of 20 seconds. But again, the light pollution makes it almost unusable, the image.
Yeah, that's like what, a Bortle 5 sky, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, and the problem with Ona, the place is super cool because it's a cemetery and so on. But basically, earlier in the season, you have the Milky Way. We were shooting. If you get there, we were shooting due west. And earlier in the season is usually further south, that you're also shooting into light pollution again. So I'll say, I would like to try, this location very, very early in the season. So, it will be what, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and the Milky Way will be really high in the horizon. And that will put it above the bubble of the light pollution. But again, like I said, those of you that read my posts and so on, the part that this really was really cool, I had great friends over there, sharing the time. And also my wife was with me. So we had a lot of fun. And that's the end of my show and tell. So
Cool.
Who's next?
Well, it's just a couple of things, because you already said you were looking for some comments about the
Oh yeah,
the
absolutely.
doc-
This other images.
the
Yeah.
doc stuff. So
Yeah.
my only thing is I still prefer the darker one, but
Okay.
I don't know. I think it's too, for me, I'm looking at on my end on this screen, so I'm sure you got better detail on yours, but I still prefer the one on the left myself. I do like
Okay.
the one on the right, but it doesn't sell me like the other one on the left. But that's my, it's like everything else, I think we were talking about this earlier, is that, everything is really subjective. Everyone's their own worst critic when it comes to their work, and everyone, and like I said, everyone's got an opinion, but I still think I'm going to stick with my first opinion on the one on the left, because I know the other one, because you don't have any shadows of yourself in the right one. You had shadows of you in the other one. But what I would say is take this doc on the right and put it over the one on the left.
Actually, I came up with an idea on how to solve the shadow problem. So
Right.
For those of you that Donna and I were looking at this images really in high res, and we noticed that that you see over here is my shadow on the dock. So you could see one tripod leg, and my legs. So, I noticed it today. I always thought that it was just some kind of random shadow. So basically what I came up is I'll delete the tripod legs, and then I will basically duplicate the shadow of my legs to cover the gap in between, and that's it. It will look like a uniform shadow there.
Yeah, I like that. That sounds like a good idea. But yeah, I really
Hey,
like the stuff.
this is Richard. I just
Yeah.
thought I'd mention, I think the shadow actually adds some intrigue to the picture.
Okay.
And I like the bright highlights in the dock, taking your eyes out toward the moon, and the contrast around the moon, I think, is better in this shot than the lighter one.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Glidden, I don't think anybody would say, oh, look at the tripod legs.
Oh, I don't know, Margaret. When you see it big, you know what they are. So.
Oh, really? Is it that obvious?
I believe so, right, Dono? When we looked at it, full
I
high
looked
res.
at it, because Glenn shared it with me before we started, and I was able to look at it 100% on the screen, and then yeah, it was noticeable. But like I said, when like I was telling before too, if you're like 6 feet away from it and it's 20 by 30, I don't know how much noticeable it's going to be. And things tend to print darker than you see on the screen anyway. So,
Oh, Glidden, show us the other one again.
Okay. Here you go.
Ah, I agree. Blend the two.
I could try that as well.
You know, you could use the you don't have any shadows here. You'll figure it out. Now
but-
you may love this image. I do love the tones in this. It's much softer, but I'm a firm believer. Which one does your wife like?
This one.
That's
Yeah.
the one to go with.
yeah,
Yeah.
Save the life.
She said that it was a lot more dramatic than
Yes.
the other one.
But again,
I'm
do your test prints. I'm a firm believer in test prints,
That's
especially
right.
if it's presented.
I gotta admit, I'm a sucker for the Belt of Venus. You know, I love it. I shoot it as much as I can. Actually, one picture that I didn't include of the same Peak Pier, it was I believe it was right after New Year. My wife and I went over there. We missed the sunset completely, but the Belt of Venus was fantastic, and I was completely happy shooting towards the other side of the bay just to get it in the frame and so on. So, but yeah, I think I was playing with it a little bit earlier, so probably if I get away, erasing those legs for the tripods, I think my shadow, nobody will know what it is. It's just shadow there. So I don't know, but yeah, Margaret, I'm gonna print them side by side, fairly large, and I'm gonna look at them closely.
Hey, Glidden, the
Yeah.
shadow knows. Don't forget.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can put in the caption, if you find the photographer, it's yours. So the print is yours.
Yeah, that's cool. I know you mentioned photo pills and a few other things about the shot. So just to give a heads up for people who've not seen or used the app Photo Pills, if you guys ever get a chance to take a look at it, it's an app that you can use on your phone. You can plan out where you need to stand in order to get the shot. So I've done that for the Skyway stuff. Glidden did it for this one with the moon. You just happened to be looking at it to see this one, but the idea is that it's a really helpful planner tool. I get no bonuses for if you guys do decide to take it. But I find it a very useful tool, especially if you're trying to plan out sun time, blue hour, golden hour, all this other fun stuff. It's a great, useful tool. Keep in mind, there's plenty of free things online like datentime.com and stuff like that. But I really love it because it's handy. It's in the palm of your hand and you can literally see exactly where you're standing. So it's a great app. I know there's other ones out there, but like I said, it's a good app to use to try.
Yeah, it's like you're saying, Dono. I have another picture of the sun star passing through an arch on the beach, and I got it through Photo Pills. I played until I found the date the sun will set, through that little arch, and I just went over there and waited for it to happen.
Right.
You
Right.
also have the augmented reality
That's right.
aspect
Yep.
of it, where
Yep.
you can actually hold your phone up and find out where the Milky Way is.
Yep.
All right. Anybody else have anything else to share tonight?
This is Nancy. I use Photo Pills and I was locked out pretty much with the clouds the other night for the full moon coming up. And there's a augmented reality portion of Photo Pills that will show you where the moon's rising. So although I couldn't see the moon in the clouds, at least the app could tell me that, aim this direction. So it is helpful.
Yeah, I love the app. It's a great app. It's useful.
Extremely helpful.
Yeah.
It'll show you the azimuth as well, so you can use your compass, know exactly where it's going to rise.
Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, I saw a demo. I don't remember the photographer. You can input different information in the app. Usually I play going through the dates and so on. but she wanted to do a shot of the moon with the kind of lining on top of the torch of the Statue of Liberty. And it will go straight to the date and time and so on. And then it will tell you it will happen in 4 years at this time, and you got to be at this location to.
That was probably from Patella.
It will,
It's a gal from up in Vermont.
like that. It was really cool.
Yeah, and she has a whole series that it's free that you can get on her. I'll give it to Dono, and then he can publish it.
Sure. Yeah, not a problem. All right, cool beans. Yeah. Somebody just mentioned Brenda Patella. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dono, I have a photo if you guys would like to look at it.
Sure. Give me 1 second here.
Okay. There we go. See it?
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So remember last time I came to the store and I talked to you, and then I was going to go to the DeSoto Park.
Right.
Well, that's when I went to the DeSoto Park. This is one of the photos that I took. Actually, this is probably about eight or so photos taken in portrait mode, merged together, long exposures, bracketed, and yeah, that's the end result.
I like it. I think it's a great. I love, especially when you go with the. I know the LED light thing is a relatively new thing that they've been adding to some of these bridges, and the fact that it's all red all the way across, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's hard to get those highlights not blown out. So if you take a series of shots and then I have to blend them together to because under the pier, on the, what do you call it, the things that go into the water, those are really bright. That's where the lights actually are, and they blow out. You can see they're almost kind of light in different areas. And they're a little bit blown out, but the only way to actually get this shot is to blend them in, or otherwise, you're not going to have any detail in the sky or the water, because the water is totally dark, as you know. This is dark. This is nighttime, and yeah, so that took quite a while, and it was cold.
It looks pretty cool. Well, again, I think you did a really great job, especially like you said with the highlights and stuff like that, and all the clouds and everything else. It's just a really nice little setup right there. I'm assuming these were all long exposure because the water's kind of smoothed out and the clouds are kind of squishy. But
Right.
I love it. I think it's great.
I mean, I capture the bridge. It's not a long exposure, obviously,
Right.
but for the sky and the water, those are blended long exposures.
Cool.
I try to get all the data that I need, and then when I get back to the computer, then I assemble things the way I like it. You know what I mean? So it's a series of things to make it happen. A lot of photos.
EJ, another place you can try to do, not this wide of a panel, is the end of the fishing pier.
The first pier?
The fishing pier, that on the west side, not the east side. On the west side, I think you pay $8, and usually we have driven all the way to the very end and set up over there. And you can do either panels or maybe tighter shots of the two towers of the bridge and so on. And they will not bother you whatsoever. You can be there forever, and they don't care. I'm talking on the fishing pier next to the bridge, to the sky bridge.
That's the south end.
I see. I know what you're saying now. Right on the south bridge.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Right. Okay. I've been there before, and I didn't spend much time there, but it's at a much different angle. It's more an acute angle.
I know, because the other place you can go is what is it called, Margaret? The kind of the, not the waiting area, but the rest stop. Is that what it's called? That is also on the south side?
Yeah, it's on
part.
the south side, but on the east south side.
That's
Right.
right.
Right, you can come to the end of that park and there's a little turnaround spot where the guardrail is. And right there is a spot, but they closed that actually after dark also. You can go into that park and do a shot, but you can't go to that far end after dark because they closed that section off for some reason.
Yeah.
It's just different perspectives.
Yeah.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
there's only so many views you can get of it unless you're on boat.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. We need somebody who likes driving their boat at night.
This is obviously at Fort DeSoto with a lot of Photoshop going. The colors were there, but I just obviously enhanced it. This is a really long exposure.
I love the colors. The colors are really nice and vibrant.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice nice primary colors and all that stuff. That's really cool.
Hey, Daryl, this is Richard. I think that's a really good example of minimalism.
Yep.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
I like doing long exposures because it does make things minimalistic. The simples, the water is very chaotic. It's very busy. And so, you got this one subject right here, the subject of the photo that's stationary and it's solid, but everything else is not. And it makes that object pop out of the photo even more. That's a couple that I had.
Cool. All right, I think so. I think Larry says he's got a few more we could share. So I'm gonna go over there while that's going on. Let's see.
Can we do live view on the Canon's images stacking like that where it's
The composite, Margaret?
yeah.
No.
You're supposed to say yes, Margaret. It just needs to be down. It only costs another $1,000 for that feature.
Is this one or this one? That one?
Because Dono doesn't admit it, but that's cheating. So whatever.
Maybe that's not right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we got Larry's here. Oh, got some cool ones. All right, we got a couple more here, and then we'll start wrapping it up. Okay.
While
Yes,
you're bringing those up, when it comes to like your low lot down in the not the Keys, the Everglades,
Right.
you have some overnight spots that you picked for us.
So that was a little bit of fun to do with that. But then after that, I'm going to go to Kirby Story Park and Fakahatchee, and then up to the oil well place, and I'm going to do some star trails there. Each one's going to be there. The shots that I'm going to be trying to do out there are going to be like 45 minutes to 60 minutes at a time to try to get some decent trails going as far as that goes. So each shot's going to be, each location's going to take a little bit.
So do we bring our backpacks and sleeping stuff in the car with us, or is this going to be a couple of nights, do you think?
Oh, this is one night.
Oh, I don't love
One
you
night.
that much.
Yeah, I'm starting at 5 and I probably end around midnight.
Okay.
So this is one long haul, because for me, I'm going to start on that side and drive out there, and then I'm going to eventually drive my way back home.
Okay.
Stopping at all these spots right there. So I'm going to try to hit as many as I can. Obviously, not everybody has to do that. I'm just saying that if you guys want to take some advantage of some of that stuff playing out there, that's a fun thing to do. But keep in mind, there's the Everglade National Park, which is a little bit closer. But then again, you got to camp in the park or pay for the parking fee. Camping fee and all that other fun stuff down there too.
I'm Nancy. I got the last camping site. I have a camper.
All right. Well, so now you can go. Bike
Yeah.
Margaret.
There you go.
Here we go. Let's see. If I click on this, it should come up, right, Larry?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
So where was this at?
This was at Hickerson Petroglyphs, just off of US 50 in Nevada. and I was out looking for the Milky Way. I think I got a little rocket there, or either a
Plane.
yeah, that or I think it was only one of the 2 frames that was in there. That I took.
That is a truly dark sky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah. If you had a chance to go out there, that's a good place. Not a place to stay. Long way between places.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's some nice star trails there.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, that was maybe the second night or the same night. I don't remember exactly. It was kind of neat that the camper that was there, I kind of gave it a little bit of a light off of my phone, actually. And to just be able to bring that up a little bit, but not to where it really blew it out and where it looked like it was painted much. And we went on to they left, we left, and we ended up meeting up back in near another town in Nevada. So I gave them that picture, sent it to them anyhow. But that was pretty neat.
And where in the hell is this place at?
This is at the Asian Lantern Festival in the Cleveland Zoo. I have a whole bunch of those, but I just chose to do one here. There's probably, we walked there for an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe, taking pictures.
Larry, it's Richard. I really like the way you have the people silhouetted against the colored background.
Yeah.
Yeah, at first I was like, oh, damn, there's pictures that are people in there. And then I looked at it later and was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's me, but I just keep wanting to crop it like that. You know, cut it off a little bit there. But you know, it teaches out. You know, it's like, you know, there's all this weight over there in the black in there, and you got this thing just jumping out at you.
Yeah.
But you know, I can't decide if I want to crop into it, or maybe that's just the guy you want. You know, that's just that.
Yeah,
but it's cool.
I didn't do much on it. I just like, oh, that's what I got.
Yeah.
I just showed it. So
Yeah, that's cool.
but
Beans.
you're right. You know, you could crop a lot of that dead
Yeah.
space away.
That's cool. Well, thanks again for sharing, Larry. I appreciate
welcome.
that. That's awesome. All right, so let's see if we can wrap this up. Let's see, it's almost 8:30 now. We're almost done here. So I want to say thanks again for everybody who joined us tonight. I appreciate that. So I'm going to go over a couple of things that, like some of the ones I showed earlier about some of the editing and stuff like that. So the picture I'm going to bring up is the one I did at the in Venice. So this is at the Fountain of Youth statue there. And obviously in RAW, it didn't quite look like this. And I, of course, was on a tripod for most of the stuff, because when it was in RAW, it was kind of like this. So almost everything's there, except, of course, you know, it didn't quite have the tripod wasn't quite even. So you had to fix a little bit of that stuff in there and have a little bit of fun. Now, with this particular one, what I did with this one is I'm basically editing this one in Capture One. And basically all I'm doing is I'm just making just an overall correction. I chose the flash white balance because, you know, I was trying to get more, because I want the natural, any of the regular daylight light that isn't there, because there was a one white light there. So I wanted to kind of show that off. So that way it gave me a little bit extra pop back here in the background right there. I did a little bit of jiggly pokery with some of the settings over here, as you can see. Not too much though, but just enough to slide it for the contrast and stuff. So then what I ended up doing is I ended up masking this whole entire area right here with it within Capture 122. And this was kind of a cool way to be able to just tweak this little area right there for that type of stuff. You know, creating layers in Capture 122 is really very easy to do. I find it a little bit easier than working in Photoshop, because you can basically make one giant mask, which I think is fine and dandy, which that one is right there. But what you can also do is you can also do what's called a luma range, and you can basically just start isolating a certain tonal range, and you can just work just in those particular areas there. But what I ended up doing is they added a new tool in there called the Smart Brush, where you can actually tweak that around a little bit right here. So I'm gonna zoom up right there. So here's the cool thing. So I'm going to go ahead and clear that out. And then I'm going to click on their little smart mask brush. And it's like the smart selection tool in Adobe, except now it's just doing smart masking, which I thought was a very, I know you could do that when some of like select mask tool and stuff like that, but it's right there. And it's, you can just basically start picking and choosing in there. And then you can, of course, you can go in there and erase some of the areas in there too, if you want to do that as well too. But once I did all that stuff, I was able to do, pretty much anything I wanted to the whole entire thing at that. And that was only capture one. It didn't really take me too long to do the edits on that particular piece. So I was very happy with the final product on that one. Like I said, that was with Capture 122. And for those of you who are interested, Capture 122, you could buy it standalone or you could do the subscription. I have the standalone program, and of course you get updates and stuff like that. So I'm this one though, I did take a different approach on this one. I actually threw this one into Photoshop for this particular one. But this one, I did start off at Capture One. I did a little bit of tweaking, not too much, but enough to make me happy with some of the general settings. But so I'm dumping this into Photoshop now. And what I'm doing over here is I'm just making a couple of layers. Now, for those of you who've not worked with Photoshop or haven't seen this before, Photoshop has a really cool thing where you can do is you can create a smart object. So you can start with just basically your one image right here with all the edits that you got in there. But if you want to apply any filters to it, you can actually tweak it a little bit by making a smart object. And once you do that, then you can just edit right here if you want to on the picture by itself, and then you can dump it in there. But the main thing is you can also go back and re-edit the filter that you applied to it. Now I've used the camera raw filter on this one to do my little tweaking here and there. And then after that, I threw it into Luminar and just give it a little bit of extra punch because I always like a little bit of extra contrast on that stuff. Glenn's laughing at me, but yeah, that's because that's true. He knows that, so, and then of course there's a little bit, you saw the birds get added in there too. So the birds were another little touch because I thought the birds had to be in the picture because I'm looking at the picture, right? So when here the birds, because I like the birds to me were just, I needed one more little bit of oomph in there, just a little bit of on there. So I was really, really, really happy with that type of stuff. All right. Any questions or comments about any of that stuff? Nope. I saw things that coming in there and the thing. Enjoyed all the photography as well. Techniques that were enjoyed. Thanks everyone. Thank you too, Richard. I appreciate the comments and stuff like that. Yeah, don't forget something. People left some comments in the chat window, and as far as that, so that's kind of a cool thing. So thank you very much for all the comments in there. I want to make sure again, thank you everyone who shared and brought some stuff to show and tell. I hope I get to see some of you here. And like I said, I know the gentleman, Mr. Phoenix, is from France, so I probably won't see you in stateside anytime soon. But if you do, so if you're stopping by Florida, come by and see us. We'll be glad to help you out. Yes.
When is the deadline for the submission of pictures for the gallery?
March 7th.
So, and you're gonna meet at the gallery to drop the pictures off then?
Yep. Just meet them at the Performing Arts Center there. I'll send you, make sure there's a link for the description. I've got it in Meetup for the date for the drop off on March 7th. And I also have it in the Facebook group as an event as for March 7th as well too. But I'll send you the links for all that stuff as well. That'll be in with the email that I sent out after this gets dumped and edited a little bit.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
No, not a problem. Any other questions, guys? All right, guys. Well, thank you very much. Again, I'm like I said, I'm going to keep on doing this thing until basically there's nobody here. So if you guys keep showing up, that means I have to keep doing this. So if you like what you see, great, awesome. Please feel free to share the group and you can join us over on Facebook or you can join us over on Meetup. Just look for the Low Light Photo Group on any of that stuff if you guys are interested in any of that. So far, every time I've done like where I left the alternative for people to come to the store to hang out. And so far we had Mac show up, and then Larry, he was the only one here. Now Larry's the only one that showed up. So I'm getting from the majority that you like these online things. And we can meet in the field for the field trip type of stuff. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take away the meeting type. Maybe we can come up with another way to meet up in person if you want to do that. If like have a group meeting somewhere, maybe we can do something like maybe once a year or maybe like every couple of months or something like that. The other thing too is it's like if anybody's interested in going somewhere and they want to invite the group and you want to post an event on Meetup, just let me know and I can give you access to that, or send me the info and the date and the time and I'll put you down there and you'll be the host of that event. And so you can do that if you want to do any of that type of stuff too. I know that sometimes that me, Glidden, and Mary and Margaret get together sometimes, and Gary Clark's been reaching out to me to go do some stuff, and Greg Adams also reached out to me. So again, I love doing that. I love if you guys want to do stuff just with me or hang out sometime, or if you got a spot and you don't want to go out there by yourself, let me know, and or let somebody in the group know, and we'll be glad to hang out there with you too as well. All right, again, I said thank you again, and one more time for thanks. I appreciate it, and I hope everyone has a great month. I hope I see you guys out there in the dark somewhere, and I'll hope I'll see you guys out there on March 7th for the drop off. All right, thanks again, guys. I appreciate it, and you guys have a great night. Stay, be well, and take some pretty pictures, guys.
Thank you, Donovan, very much.
Thank you guys very much.